blessing it is to have Brother Curtis. I tell you, not every church gets an opera singer, my friend. Thank you, brother. God bless you. Kids, this time we'll go ahead and dismiss you guys from Children's Church. Have a blessed time, guys. Y'all got to get on the go. When I say go, that means get out of here. I don't want you in here. All right? I try to be nice about it. Hey, Laura, let's work on what that means today, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. They listen to you better than me, obviously.
We'll try.
Good luck, my friend. Memorial Day is a special time of year. The past 2 weeks, we've been out going to be honest with you, every graduation we can go to, because we want to support our kids. We've been to everything from kindergarten graduations to high school graduations to sixth grade graduations, and what a blessing it is to be able to get out there and see these kids working hard, striving to continue as they go through school. What a blessing it is. I know we've got a lot of kids who are graduating. I'm trying to get a tally of how many we've got in the church, and we're going to recognize and honor them in the days ahead for what they've accomplished. But as we get into Memorial Day, school's out. For parents, it's like, oh no. For kids, it's yes, this is the greatest thing ever. They're so excited. They're happy for this break. But it also starts to begin summer vacation. And to be honest with you, it hurts the business world as much as it hurts the church, because again, people will go on vacation, attendance begins to drop a little bit, people are taking care of their family and everybody. But on the work scale, you have people, what do they start doing? They start going on vacations as well. I had a talk with a buddy of mine the other day who said he worked 75 hours the other week. I said, what are you doing working so much? He goes, well, the company, they didn't replace the person or hire anybody when somebody had to go on vacation, so I had to work all those extra hours. He said, it's good on my paycheck, but man, it's wearing me out. Church, sometimes we need to understand we just need to take a break. We just need to sit back, and I'm hoping tonight you're able to do that as we don't have services. You can sit down with your family, enjoy that time together, but also let's teach our children why we remember, why we go through Memorial Day. It's not about the deals in the stores. It's not about the time of coming together and having a day off from work and only working a 4-day work week. Church, it's about remembering those who have allowed us now to have the life that we have. I don't know about you, I got problems, but man, am I glad I live in the United States of America. The whole debate on kneeling, I'm going to tell you as clear as I can, I'll not just stand before the flag, I'll honor the flag. I'll do it publicly from the pulpit, I'll do it live. I have no problem, because I am thankful for those who have fought and died so that I can live the life that I now live today. When I was 18 years old, I was like any other 18-year-old kid. I knew nothing but knew everything. So I decided I was going to follow in my family's footsteps and go into the military. Started the program, was getting ready to go through, and then they called something different now, but they called it MEPS. And you go through, they check your physical stature, they test you to kind of find out, how intelligent you are, what you can do. And they're all processing and getting ready to give you a job in the military, what you're going to do after you get out of basic training. Now, for me, I played all kinds of sports growing up. I was very active. I loved to be as involved as I could, enjoyed doing all those things. And when my senior year in high school, I broke my wrist playing football. Didn't know it. Felt like it was just a sprain. Didn't bother me that bad. So, of course, instead of going to the doctor and getting it checked out, I was too tough and continued to play on it for about 3 or 4 more months. So to make a long story short, when I finally found out that I broke this thing, I'd broken it in such a way, I can't bend it any further than this anymore. What's that have to do with the sermon this morning? I'll tell you in just a second. As I went into the military, as I was trying to go in, they look at your physical ability. They want to sit down and say, okay, show me how you can do 10 push-ups. And got down, and I would do my push-ups on my fist, and I was able to do them real good. I was strong, I was younger. But the guy told me, he said, no, because that was great. Show me a flat-handed push-up. I said, well, I can. So then I took my fingers and I'd spread them out and do a push-up off my fingertips and did 10 in a row. I was strong. I could do them. The guy said, no, because your hand has got to be completely flat. He goes, you don't understand, son. When you get into basic training, You're going to do exactly what they tell you to do, and your form is going to have to be the way that they want it to be. I said, well, I can't do that. And he said, well, that's a problem. He goes, well, we're going to have to send you to a specialist. They're going to need to re-break your wrist, and you're going to have to, let it heal and come back. I said, oh, hold on. Re-break my wrist? I said, you're crazy. The guy said, well, don't you want to serve? And I said, not that bad. You have to understand, for me at 18, 9/11 had just happened. We were all ready to go. We were all upset. We were all aggravated. We were frustrated. I want to tell you, a lot of boys and girls that I grew up with are not here today because they fought and died overseas. So if we want to debate a flag, I don't have the patience for it. I am so thankful for those who had a soldier's heart to go and fight a war. That way we can live free today. This morning's sermon title is called A Soldier's Love for His Country. 3 points, very simple sermon. Number one, it's not good to be bored. It's not good to be bored. Number two, a soldier's love for his country. Number three, nothing escapes the eyes of the Lord. Turn with me in your Bibles, if you have them, over to 2 Samuel chapter number 11. 2 Samuel chapter number 11. First point is, it's not good for man to be bored. Now, when you look at the problems that are facing the world today, and as the issues that are going on, it seems like a lot of younger people have just got time to do anything they want. Now, when I was a young man, I grew up in a barber shop. My mom and my dad started a barber shop in town where we grew up. And when you work for your family, guess what? There's no time of sitting around. I was constantly sweeping up hair or talking to customers, answering the phone. At the time they had tanning beds, I used to get paid a quarter a tanning bed that I cleaned. That was good money. Man, when you were 7 and 8 years old and you walk out of it with $6 a day, that was great. That was enough to get a toy. That was enough to get candy. I was living like a king at 7 and 8 years old. Then I got to where I was 10 years old, and all of a sudden they started pulling money back. They're like, what's going on here? Well, why aren't you paying me for this? Well, we think you need to understand. This is family business. You're part of the family. You want to eat? Stop taking away from the pot, right? So we had to work together. But I grew up, and my life was as busy when I was a kid as it is now that I'm an adult. Kids nowadays, one of the things that broke my heart when I was at these graduations, and I don't know that anybody else noticed this. Dave, I was over there with you during yours. Beautiful service. And the principal had them take carnations and give those flowers back to their parents. Now immediately, beautiful time, the kids were all set up here. The kids all got up, probably, I don't know what, maybe 150, 200 of them. And they began to walk through the crowd looking and searching for their parents. What I noticed was the look of pain on certain children that knew they had no one to go give that flower to. And it amazed me. As kids were walking, they were handing out tissues and Kleenexes to parents and kids. But it amazed me because I've seen this look before from kids who do not have parents, that are broken, that are hurting, that are frustrated, that are sad. And there were so many grandparents there that were receiving flowers. Thank you, God, to you grandparents that stand up and take care of your children. Thank you. But it broke my heart because while some were rejoicing and giving mom and dad the biggest hug they could give them, giving them a beautiful flower of appreciation, there were some kids I saw that had to hold on to their flower. Church, we live in a day and age where our kids are fighting the battle of their lives right now. We've got to invest in them. We've got to spend time with them. We've got to seek to move. And part of the issue is the core values that we had when I was a kid, that you had when you were a child, they're not around like they should be anymore. We worked. When I was 14, I got my first job. When I went out there, I didn't want to bag groceries. I had no customer service skills. I wasn't a polite, good guy. But let me tell you where I learned. I learned when I had a manager stand over me saying, boy, you're not going to act that way. You're going to show up on time. You're going to do what we pay you to do. See, church, discipline is a good thing. It produces character. When I was 16, I began to work at Walmart. I get tired of pushing my one buggy back up the hill to the cart spot now. You know, I used to get really mad and say, man, those lazy people just leave their cart sitting right by their car. I'm starting to understand that, by the way. It's a little bit of a hard thing to go through a store with 150 pounds of groceries and then load them back in the car. It gets difficult. But my first job at Walmart, and Walmart was very good to me, was pushing carts. Let me tell you something. You didn't get off when it rained. You didn't get it to come inside when the sun was beating down on you. In fact, about a year into the job, they first bought this thing called a cart mule. Have y'all ever seen that thing? It's a big old thing. They put the carts to it. Well, a year before that, we had no cart mule. I was the mule, and we used to take 50 buggies, and one guy would sit there and push him as hard as he could, and the other one would steer. And I tell you, I told my coach at football practice one time, I said, this training stinks compared to what Walmart does. I said, man, I'm getting strong just doing this. But here's the thing. I have worked my entire life. I've not had time to be bored. And these kids today are bored. They're not working. They're turning to sex. They're turning to drugs. They're turning to gangs and violence. They're growing up in homes without parents to lead, to guide, and to shepherd them. In church, I'm going to tell you, I can't stand some of the attacks that I see going on with our military. The things that they go through, the fact that they step back. I'm not saying they're perfect. I'm not saying we're not involved in things that we shouldn't be involved in, but it's not the soldier's fault. We must give honor to those that serve our great country church. 2 Samuel chapter number 2. 2 Samuel chapter number 11. King David is at home, and listen to the word of God here, verses 1 through 5. It states, it happened in the spring of the year, at the time when the kings go out to battle, that David sent Joab and his servants with him and all Israel, and they destroyed the people of Ammon and besieged Rabbah. But David remained in Jerusalem. Then it happened one evening. And here's the problem. Let me stop there for just a moment. The kings were gathering for battle, and David decided to stay home. Church, let me tell you, number one, be careful when you decide to stay home. Be careful. Now, that can be applied in many ways. It can be to church. Is it hard to get up and go to church some days? Sure it is. But I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't had those problems since I was a kid. I love to be with God's people. I love to worship my Creator, my God, my Savior. And what I notice is we live in such a sensitive society today that when someone gets their feelings hurt, they decide they don't want to go there, they don't want to sing in the choir, they don't want to be in Sunday school, they don't want to do this, they don't want to see that person. So who do we take it out on? God. Well, my feelings are hurt and I'm just frustrated about it. I'm just not going to go. I'm just not going to deal with it. Church, let me tell you something. Be careful when you choose to stay home. Sometimes sin comes directly to your front door. David should have gotten up and went out to battle with the kings, with his people, with his generals, but he decides here to stay home. Now, it's interesting, verse 2, because as he stays home, guess what he does? Gets himself into some big trouble. And I don't mind is a dangerous place, church family. Kids that are bored with nothing to do will find things to get into. When I was a young man, there was an old high school that was a couple of blocks from where I lived. We were bored. There's about 10 of us boys. We decided we were going to go check that old high school out. It wasn't hard to get into. I'm not telling you to do this. Trust me, this was not a smart decision. We went into the high school, walked around, looked around for a little bit, found something to do. Guess what happened once we came out? Police officers out there wanting to know what we were doing inside of that abandoned high school. We weren't smart enough to know that somebody saw 10 boys walking up the road and thought, there's something wrong here. There's a small football team walking around the neighborhood here, so when they saw us go in, trouble came. Guess what? We had an idle mind that day. We learned our lesson quick, though. David, in verse 2, states, "Then it happened one evening that David arose from his bed and walked on the roof of the king's house. And from the roof he saw a woman bathing. And the woman was very beautiful to behold. So David sent and inquired about the woman, and someone said, 'Is this not Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite?' And then David sent messengers and took her, and she came to him, and he lay with her, and she was cleansed from her impurity. And she returned to her house." Verse 5, we'll get to it in just a second. A lot of people love this story, David and Bathsheba. A lot of people enjoy it because it shows the vulnerability of David, a major bad decision that he makes. Now, David is not all at fault. I mean, he should have, to be honest with you, he should have got out on the rooftop, he should have seen her, he should have said, "Whoa," and turned his eye and went back to bed. But no, he did. He began to lust on her, to see her where she was, to think, man, that is a gorgeous woman. She's beautiful. In church, you think about the dangers that we have today with computers and everything else. Here is David, who has to act on this. So he has to get his servants together. He says, "Brother, I want you to go find out who this woman was." And as he sends her out, now I got to be honest with you, I'm a little confused about Bathsheba as well. Who takes a shower on top of the roof? Don't go home and try that, by the way. There are satellites. You will end up on the internet somewhere. But I don't get this. I think she wanted the attention. I think that as her husband was out fighting the war, there's a problem going on at home. How many soldiers come back to a family that has been torn apart because of an unfaithful spouse? In church, all of us have a verse 3. Verse 3 is when God's trying to tell you, don't do it. Verse 3 is when God's saying, you're smarter than this. Verse 3 is when it's coming to you and saying, this is not the way to go. You're getting ready to walk into sin. Verse 3 states, "So David sent and inquired about the woman, and someone said, 'Is that not Bathsheba?'" In other words, she's taken. This woman, we know who she is. And the verse continues to go down. This is not Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite. See, church, a decision has come to David. A time and an opportunity to make a choice whether or not he is going to go after a taken woman. And then this person comes and says, she is the wife of Uriah. In other words, don't. Stop. How many times have we had those opportunities where we continue to go forward on a decision knowing that God's telling us, don't go that path? David's warned here, and he still says, bring her to me. Church, if David had been where he was supposed to be, his relationship would have happened. If David had went out to war with all the other kings, with all the other people, instead choosing to stay home, his idle mind caused him to wonder. When his eye caught hold of something he shouldn't have seen, he had to have more of it. Church, we are living in a day and age where the enemy is able to get into our homes through our TV, through our computer, through the internet, and our children are suffering because we give them freedom. And behind a closed door, once their eyes catch something, they continue to fall down a road that leads into death. I get it. It's not popular to talk about these things. I understand it. You know why we get so uncomfortable about this? Let me tell you something. You only get uncomfortable about something if you're doing it. If you're doing something you shouldn't be doing, by the way. It's only hard to talk about something if you're in the middle of doing that very thing. That's why when guilt comes out of people, sometimes it's funny to watch. Somebody will admit to doing something and they've not even been accused of it. Guilt wants to bleed out of us. In church, here is David, here in a few moments, getting ready to get caught up in guilt and cover his tracks for what he's done. Church, first point, it's not good for a man to be bored. Number 2, the soldier's love for his country. Look with me at verse number 5. And the woman conceived. So she went and told David and said, I am with child. Uh-oh. Whoa, hold on a second. We just had one night. Listen, I gave you an offering. I told you to have a great time. I gave you robes and clothes. I'm trying to take care of you. What do you mean you're coming back and you're telling me now that you're with child? See, there is always consequences to our sins. And let me tell you something. A child should not be punished because of a man and a woman's bad decision. Going out, thank God they didn't have the ability to abort a baby. I'm going to tell you right now, David might have chose that option. Because he's getting ready to kill a man over it. He's getting ready to take someone who's innocent. And I don't mean to put words in David's mouth. I pray to God that he wouldn't have done that. But if abortion was an option in that day and age, would he have taken that route? He's surprised by what's taking place here. He's surprised by the actions. And as we see here, verse number 6, then David said to Joab, send me Uriah the Hittite. And Joab sent for Uriah and sent him to David. When Uriah had come to him, David asked how Joab was doing and how the people were doing and how the war prospered. So David sends a message to his general Joab. He says, I want Uriah to come back home. See, he's plotting in his mind to try to fix this situation. David knows he did wrong. He knows he should have never gotten involved with a married woman. It's amazing how one night of having a good time will cause such an issue down the road. The regret's there. He wishes he could take this back. He wishes he could turn away. It's too late now if she's with child. So he's beginning to form plans. And a soldier who's out there fighting for his country, by the way. Someone that's out there fighting with honor and pride and integrity. So that his wife can have a place to lay down at night. It's amazing to me because Joab sends Uriah home and King David asked him, he said, how's the report? How's the war going? He doesn't care how that war's going. He doesn't care how the battle is. The only war he cares about is the war that's going on inside him right now, trying to figure out a way out of his sin. Uriah gets called to come home, and I guarantee his thoughts are, why me? I'm just a soldier. Well, what could the king really want with me? I love King David. King David's my hero. This is the king is called for me? The one who stood before Goliath? The one that took down the giant who oppressed Israel? The one who danced before the Ark of the Covenant? The one who has led our great nation? When Joab came to him, he said, Commander, it would be my honor to go and give a report back to our great king of how things are going. Thank you for this ability. And as he walked into the chamber of King David, before the throne, before the people, before the generals and the leaders and the great politicians and all the wise, he walked up to the king and he says, my king, it is my honor and privilege to present myself before you. How may I serve you, Lord? King David broke the trust of a man who would honor and love him. The story continues, verse number 8. And David said to Uriah, go down to your house, wash your feet. So Uriah departed from the king's house, and a gift of food from the king followed him. But Uriah slept at the door of the king's house with all the servants of his lord, and did not go down to his house. So when they told David, saying, Uriah did not go down to his house, David said to Uriah, did you not come from a journey? Why did you not go down to your house? And Uriah said to David, the ark and Israel and Judah are dwelling in tents And my lord Joab and the servants of my lord are encamped in open fields. Shall I then go to my house to eat and drink and lie with my wife? As you live, as your soul lives, I will not do this thing. Wow, what pride in this man. You know what the problem in the world is today? We need more Uriahs. Y'all ain't awake, are you? You better wake up. You better hear me this morning. We need more people that will live like Uriah. He had an opportunity. David's plan is if I can get Uriah to come home, he'll go back and see his wife and spend time with her. And that way, when they do what they do, she's conceived, my sin can be hidden. They can go along. So when Uriah goes down to the gate, he sleeps at the gate instead of going home. The next day, David wants to know, why didn't you go? I don't understand. What, you got a night to have a night to relax and to spend time with your family? Why wouldn't you do that? And he looks at this and says, as surely as you live, O great king, how could I go enjoy the pleasures of life when my brothers are out there fighting on the field? How could I dishonor you as my great king and go do this? He said, far be it from me. I cannot do it. What pride. What integrity. What a man. What a blessing. King David's frustrated. Isn't it frustrating when we can't cover up our sin? Isn't it frustrating when you plan exactly how to get out of trouble, but you still get in trouble? Isn't it frustrating when you go out and I'll tell you right now, I used to think I was pretty smart until I got in trouble. How'd she figure that out? Man, my mom is so smart. Parents know everything. Verse 12. Then David said to Uriah, wait here today, also and tomorrow. You know what he does? He gives him an extended weekend. He gives him a type of Memorial Day. He says, you know what? Take another couple of days and relax. Let's not do anything. You just stay here and relax. We'll send you back with a message. You just relax here and you take the day off. And, oh, sure, Lord, if that's what you want. And he stated, I will let you depart. So Uriah remained in Jerusalem that day and the next. Now when David called him, he ate and drank before him, and he made him drunk. And at evening he went out to lie on his bed with the servants of the Lord, but he did not go down to his house. Well, this time David thinks to himself, you know what? I'm going to get this guy hammered. I'm going to make it to where he is wasted, where he is just drunk and feeling good. We'll get him back to his house. He gets the best wine out. He gets the best ability. He gets him out there and gets him drinking. And as he goes back and sits down, even drunk, this guy still has more integrity than the king. Either that or he was too drunk to get home. I don't know which one it was. But as he's laying there, as this is going on, I want you to understand, Uriah loved his country. He loved the nation he represented. He was proud of the God that he was called to serve. We need more Uriahs. He was proud of his beautiful wife, the woman of his youth, the one he loved, the one that he adored, the one that as he laid down at night while he was on the battlefield, he would think of her and how he longed to be with her. And now that he's home, he has that chance, but he understands honor. He says, I've got to go back out to the field so that I can return back to her. He was a man that loved his king. He slept as the soldiers were in the open, choosing not to go enjoy the fruits of life. Church, I want you to understand this morning. The soldier's love for his country should never be questioned. Most of y'all grew up in the 60s and 70s and in those times where Vietnam was a horrible time. Yeah, it was a horrible war. And I may get my dates wrong. I apologize. I'm still kind of young myself. But we've had war for all of us. All of us have grown up in days and ages of war. I want my children to learn when they see someone in uniform, we give them respect. I want my kids to see we buy them a meal when they're out eating. I want my kids to grow up learning that we go shake their hand and thank them because they're 4 hours away on a base up here while they're away from their family getting ready to be deployed across the sea to fight a war that they really don't want to fight, but they're going because they love this country. A soldier's love for its country should never be questioned. I'm not a political person from the pulpit. There are certain things I will take stands on, and those things are when it comes to the Bible. But we always honor those who have lived and died, who have served and fought. Because a soldier who loves this country is a soldier that deserves to be honored by his country. And here's Uriah, who's getting ready to make the ultimate sacrifice for his country, for his king, for his community, for his friends. Third and final point is that nothing escapes the eyes of the Lord. Nothing. You may get away from your mommy and daddy. You may get away from grandpa, mama, papa, whatever you want to call them. God sees every single thing that you and I do. Nothing escapes the eyes of the Lord. David, in a moment of weakness, is devising a plan of how to end this. Yeah, I can see probably in David's eyes, I tried to be nice. I tried to let the guy go home. I tried to let him see his wife. I tried to do this the right way of trying to keep this from being bad. But here's David getting ready to fall to an all-time low. Church, if you don't think presidents and kings can fall in times of wickedness, we are looking at one of the Bible greats and the heroes of the faith who was getting ready to have a man killed, all to cover his sin. But you know what? Even if I kill you, you don't have the power to cover my sin. Only Jesus. Only Jesus. There's only one who can die for the sins of this world, my friends. And here we see this, verse number 14. In the morning, it happened that David wrote a letter to Joab and sent it by the hand of Uriah. And he wrote the letter in saying, send Uriah in the forefront of the hottest battle and retreat from him, that he may be struck down and die. So it was while Joab besieged the city that he signed Uriah to a place where he knew there were valiant men. Then the men of the city came out and fought with Joab. And some of the people and the servants of David fell. And Uriah the Hittite died also. This morning, Uriah gets up. The king says, I've got a letter I need you to deliver to our general Joab. Make sure it gets to him.